Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. In my previous video I gave you the roadmap to becoming a data scientist and to begin your data science journey. In this video we'll continue on that. We'll be taking the first step to becoming a data scientist, that is installing everything you need. Hi guys, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Promise AK, and this channel will help people navigate their way through data sciences or artificial intelligence. If you are new here, you're so welcome. Thank you for clicking on this video to watch. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. I appreciate you. So in my previous video I talked about a roadmap to becoming a data scientist or a machine learning engineer. But in this video, we'll be starting with the first step in our roadmap, that is getting started with our computer, downloading the necessary files we need, the necessary tools we need. So let's get started. The most important item you need to begin data sciences or machine learning is a laptop, a computer, a desktop. So in my last video, I talked about the desktop or laptop specification. I remember mentioning 3-4 gig RAM as like the minimum. So if you want to get a new laptop, you need to get something higher. So I just said that so that in case you already have a laptop with that capacity, you don't need to get worried that you can't do this. So with that, we could still make use or make do with whatever you have. So for me, I have about 16 gig RAM, so I could put a link to my laptop specification. So if you're looking to get something like that, I'll just put a link to where I got it and the specification of the laptop, and that's that. So after getting your laptop, after sorting out your laptop, the next thing you will need is to install your packages, your softwares, set up your environment. The first thing we need to install is Anaconda. Anaconda is more like a software distribution. It's an open source distribution for Python or R. It is used for data sciences, machine learning, or deep learning. So it has different libraries to carry out data sciences or machine learning. To install Anaconda, you need about 3 to 4 gig on your computer. So in case your computer cannot carry Anaconda, you don't have enough space or the RAM is too small, you could download what we call Miniconda. Miniconda is more like a smaller version of Anaconda. We just need about 2 to 500 MB space on your computer. I want us to see Anaconda more like an office, your office building. That's your Anaconda, while your Miniconda is maybe like a desk, an office desk within a building. So for example, you don't have money, if you want to start a business for example, and you don't have money to get a building, you could just go and maybe hire some office workspaces like office desks in a building. So your Miniconda is more like the office desks you need, and Anaconda is more like the building. Don't know if that makes sense. So, and installing any of this package of this software distribution gives you what we call Conda, gives you Conda. And see, Conda is a package manager. It helps you with running errands. Just use it as it helps run errands within your office. So you could call it your personal assistant or your personal manager. So you could say, oh, Conda, help me install this. Conda, open this. So you would, as we go through this video, you see how Conda can be useful to run errands for you basically in your office. So you have your office building or your office desk, and you have your personal assistants in the form of Conda. So I will be putting a link to download Anaconda or Miniconda, depending on what works for you, in the comment section. So do well to install. So to install it, if you open up link I sent to you, you open this page, you see Anaconda installer. You could just scroll up to see different things, but what we need to download is just at the bottom. So you see Anaconda installer, you see for Windows, you see for Mac, you see for Linux. So you just look and see which works for you. In this case, we'll be downloading so all of them has Python 3.9. That's the latest Python version we have, Python 3.9. So I'll be downloading the 64-bit installer. So if you are using Windows and you have 32 bits on your laptop, you need to just click on it. So to know your laptop spec, the spec of your laptop, you can just go to your computer. You see this PC, open your Window Explorer, just right click on your PC on this PC, on my computer, wherever it is, then click on properties. So you see your device name, you see your RAM size, you see if you are using your system type, if it's 64-bit or 32-bit. So you just see your computer and know the space you have to know what you're working with. So in my case, I have 64-bit, so I'll be downloading the 64-bit graphic installer. So if you're using 32-bit, make sure you download the 32-bit because it won't be compatible. Same thing if you're working with a MacBook. So if you have M1, make sure you download what works for you best. Yeah, graphic installer. Or if you are using Linux, also download what works for you. So I'm using a Windows laptop, so I would download the first one. Yeah, so it takes a few minutes depending on the strength of your internet. For me, it's just going to take about 3 minutes for this to download, so just wait for that to download. After downloading, when it's finished downloading, you just open up your file installer file. Then you see a prompt like this, like welcome to Anaconda, click next to continue. So you just click on next, then it takes you to the license agreement. Just click on. If you have time, you could go through read, but I think you don't need to read that. Just click on I agree, then it takes you to the select installation type. So just click on just me, that's recommended. Just click on just me, then it takes you to this or that, showing you where it's installing to, or where it's downloading to, where it's going to install the Anaconda package. So the required space is about 3.5 gig, as you can see. So you need to have at least that space within your computer for this to download. Then you click on next. Next, it takes you to this installation, advanced installation option. Just tick on the second box to register Anaconda as my default Python 3.9. Yeah, so this is very important, so that if you have any Python file, you just open it with any of your Anaconda tools. So just click on install, then you start installing. Just leave for that to complete. So that takes about 2 to 3 minutes depending on your computer speed. And just click on next, then it comes up with this prompt, and just click on next also, and you see this final setup. So just both of them are ticked, so just leave them ticked and you click on finish. Yeah, so that's, we have our Anaconda installed. Or if you're using Miniconda, you have your Miniconda installed. Yeah, I hope you are able to follow through. Don't forget to drop your question in the comments section. I decided to show you how to download Miniconda. So previously I talked about Anaconda, so I thought it was necessary to show you how to install Miniconda. So if you click on the link in the description box for Miniconda, it brings you to this web page. So just follow the same thing I said initially. Download what works for you. In this case, I'm downloading for Windows 64-bit. When you download, that's very fast to download. Click open the installation file, and it follows the same pattern we use to install Anaconda. So it's far less, about 300 megabytes to download. So at this point, you could just pause and go back to the installation for Anaconda to finish your installation for Miniconda. After installing, you will see, if you just type Anaconda Navigator, so you see something like this. You see the different code editors, like I talked about previously. You have Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, you have your PowerShell, you have PyCharm, you have RStudio, you have Spider, VS Code. But for this our tutorial and our lecture, we'll be focusing on Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook. So I will let you understand. I will show you the difference between the Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook. After installing, just go on your search bar and type Anaconda. You see the PowerShell prompt, as you can see on your screen. So now it's a good practice to create an environment. Like when you install your Anaconda, you have your base environment, but as a good practice, it's good to maybe create a different environment so that you're not working from the base. Just have, so that in case you need to go back for anything, you still have your original package as it is, because as time goes on, we need to maybe update some of our packages, install new packages, and you don't want to lose what you have originally. So we just need to just go and type Anaconda. You see the PowerShell prompt, click on the PowerShell. So yeah, just wait for that to come up. You will see your base in bracket. It shows that your base environment is active. Like I said before, we need to create an environment. So I want to show you how to use Stack Overflow. Like in my previous videos, I mentioned that Stack Overflow is one of those platforms where you could collaborate or communicate with other programmers to ask questions and get your question answered. So in this, I'll show you an example on how to do that. So you just go to Google and type create Conda environment. You see different questions, you see different options. So just go type and you just press enter, create Conda environment. So this is showing with specific Python version. So you could create, maybe you're using a higher Python, you're using Python 3.9 and you want to create a different environment with maybe a less version of Python. So you could create, but for this we don't need that, we just need to create. So from the Google option you see stackoverflow.com. So how to, so people, you show that different people have asked similar questions and you want to see what people have responded. So if you click on that, for example, so you see different answers to, that. So different Stack Overflow, you have other information. Different people have asked similar question, so and different people have answered that question. So if you scroll down, you see different answer to that question. But one thing you should just look out for, you see the one with this tick, when they tick this box, and that's where you want to focus on, because it shows that the person that asked the question, that was the solution that solved the problem. So you just, most of the first things I want to go through, just look for where you have that tick. If you don't see that, then you could just go through different options. So you just say type Conda create my environment here. So we'll go back to our command prompt. This is how we send up, we use Conda. Just say Conda create something for me. So now it's Conda, we want Conda to create an environment. So you see we are on the base. So you just say Conda, just type Conda create, no, not activate, sorry. Conda create you use double hyphen, the name, you type name, you could use n, then Python, so the name of the environment you want to create. So I wanted to say Python environment. So if you're using a specific version of Python, you should just want to be Python 3.9, something like that. Then in this case, I want to clone my base. So by the time when we installed Anaconda, it came with some packages. So if you are creating a new environment, those packages will not be in the new environment. So you need to go and start installing all of them one by one. But with clone base, it's more like you're copying everything from the base into your new Python environment. So just put double hyphen and clone base. Yeah, so in this case, I already have an environment called Python environment, Python underscore n. So it's not going to work. So I'm just going to create a new environment with a different name. So just say Conda create. So we're using Conda. Remember, Conda is our personal assistant. So Conda create the same double hyphen name, the name of the environment you want to use. So in this case, I've just put my Python, then on 2 hyphen clone base, and you just press enter. You see everything that has worked. You just wait for it to finish. So it's installing. So it has installed over 170 packages with 6 files. So it's just going to take a bit of time to finish. After that is done, you see that it's our base is still active. So what we need to do, so if you look at the before the PC users, you see base in bracket shows that it's your base that is active. So we want our new environment to created to be active. So you just say Conda activate. So you are using Conda activate the name of the new environment you just created. And when time you activate that, yeah, so you see that so this shows that you are working with your new environment. Then now just type, so want to try out our Jupyter Lab, want to launch our Jupyter Lab. So you just type Jupyter Lab, just type Jupyter Lab, and it opens in a browser. It goes to your browser. It depends if you're using Chrome like I'm using. It opens in Chrome, but not it. You don't need internet connection for this. As long as you're working from your computer, you don't need to. I want to just save in my desktop. So in my desktop, I can create a folder name where everything is. I like working everything in a folder, so you don't have all your files scattered everywhere. So just create a folder where you need to store all your Python notebooks. So I'll just call this getting started. Just call this getting started YouTube video, something like that. Yes, so you can name it whatever you want to name it. You get my first Python. Yeah, then after this you want to open up your folder, and you would launch your first Python notebook. So under notebook you see Python 3, so just click on that. You see your notebook is opened. So hooray, we have our first notebook open. So you could rename, just right click on it and you see rename. You could choose to add new cell, or you could choose to save. So we need to rename this. Just right click and click on rename notebook and name it whatever you want to call it. So I'll just call it my first Python notebook. Yeah, so this is for Jupyter Lab. So we have my first Python notebook. So you could choose to add new notebooks. Yeah, so there's something you should also notice, like when we open new notebooks, it opens within the same tab within our browser. Yeah, so that this is the difference between the lab and the notebook. So within the notebook, you notice that each tab opens, each notebook opens in a new tab. Yeah, so we close our Jupyter notebook, just close everything and shut down, then go back to our command prompt, and you see that's gone out. Then just type Jupyter notebook to launch our Jupyter notebook. Just launch Jupyter notebook, launch your Jupyter notebook, and it also opens new browser. You don't need internet for this, just reminded. So just open our desktop, open our folder we've created before. We see our first notebook. So you can also open, notice that if I click on it, it goes to a new tab. So you're working with different tabs. So you have it, you can rename, type anything. You could also open new notebook. So if you want to open a different notebook, just go on file, click on file, see new workbook, click on Python 3, and you see it opens in a new tab. That's the difference between the Python notebook and the Jupyter notebook, sorry, and the Jupyter Lab. Just right click on the header and you see you can rename your Python. And that's it for loading Jupyter notebook. So you could just close, leave. And as we go, as in subsequent videos, we'll just talk about how to navigate through Jupyter notebook. So this is just getting started. So now we are good to go. We have everything set up to start with our programming, our basics of Python. So just type on exit on your command prompt, and that's closed. So now let's go over to Google Colab. So if you're not able to install Anaconda or Miniconda, yeah, you're not left out. You could use what we call the Google Colab. Google Colab help you carry out basic Python, carry out programming, even if you cannot install it on your computer. So you're working from the net, so you need an internet to be able to use Google Colab. Go on your search engine, type Google Colab, and you see this first something, as you can see on the screen. This, click on it, and so you see this welcome to Collaboratory. So it helps you carry out your coding, write codes and execute codes without hosting it on your computer. So if you have a Google account, you can just get a Google Colab notebook already, and it automatically saves to your Google Drive. So an advantage of this Google Colab is you don't really lose anything. Even if your laptop goes off, it saves automatically to your Google Drive. Click on your new notebook, and voila, you are good to go. Just wait for, depends on your internet, it can take a while. Then to your top right, just click on connect. Yeah, so now you're all set up to start programming. I hope you've enjoyed this video so far. If you have any question, please put it in the comment section. If you have any, if you're not able to run this code, if you're having challenges installing any of this package, just let me know, put it in the comment section. Don't forget to invite your friends, invite your family, invite your colleagues. If you know somebody that wants to start data scientists, programming, and those don't know how to start, you could just share this video with them. And this is more like we're beginning a journey to becoming a full data scientist, so don't miss out on the train. The train has just taken off, so you can still join us while there's still time. So we're just going to carry everybody along. And yeah, my next video we'll be talking about basics of Python, the different data types we have in Python, different data structure, and just everything you need to know about Python and programming. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.